Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Culture Shocked. I'm your host, Doug, and with me today is...
What's up? I'm Adrian, and happy Jason Day to all of our lovely listeners.
My name is Corey, and welcome to the movies.
What's up, asshats? My name's Mike.
And we are four aging millennials who are so excited to share our outdated thoughts and opinions on topics we, and I'm sure you, are deeply passionate about in the world of pop culture. With the overwhelming amount of podcast options you have today, we thought it best to dedicate our first couple of episodes to a more generalized set of the major topics we will feature going forward, so that all you can just kind of get an idea of who we are and what to expect with the show once we kind of get into the more specifics with the movies, the shows, the games. You get the picture. We're going to start things off today with a trip to the movies. As they say in the business, lights, camera, action. What we're going to be talking about today, we're going to go over the instant classics, the stuff that when you saw it as a kid and you could watch it over and over, those movies that never left you. Maybe the ones that were kind of a phase, like the I can't believe I used to like that types. And then we're going to end things off with our top three. We're going to tell you what our favorite films are, but we only get three, and it's as hard as it is, we got to do it. So
it was not easy.
It is not easy at all. So to just get into it, Back to the Future. It's instant classic. Nothing to this day, nothing has caught me as young, and I've loved as long, beginning to end.
Now, is that just the first movie, or are you talking about the whole series here?
I love the entire series, and I know the third one's a bit kind of an unpopular take, but I think it is almost just as good as the other two.
I love the third one.
I'm a fan. I like all three of them a lot, actually.
Me too. I love the Western part of it, you know. When I was a kid, I really loved like the Cowboys and Indians, so it was cool.
I'm obviously much more of a fan of the first two entries. I'm in the camp that I'm not a huge fan of the third one. The first two are pretty close to perfect movies. Like, compared to a lot of movies, even on my lists, like, I don't think a second is really wasted in Back to the Future.
What is it about the third that you don't like?
I guess just, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I guess it's just the whole aesthetic of the third one. It kind of feels like a complete shift in tone compared to the first two movies.
It did take it into almost a fantasy land that didn't need to be done.
Are you not a fan of like John Wayne movies?
I mean, I can't say that's one of my favorite genres. No, I haven't watched enough of them to have a solid opinion, to be honest.
Yeah, if I didn't watch John Wayne movies with my grandpa growing up, I don't know how I would have felt about Back to the Future 3. The fantasy aspect about a time-traveling teenager and nuclear physicist who knows how old. What is it that the third one just kind of lost you in the realism there?
Yeah, it's not really, it doesn't really have anything to do with them. Like I said, I think it's just the aesthetic. I would have to go back and give it another rewatch. To be honest, I haven't watched any movie in the series in well over a decade. I just remember being younger, not really caring for the third entry.
My heart.
You haven't watched any of these movies in over a decade?
That's crazy to me.
My heart can't take that.
I just watched them like a couple months ago.
That is a true statement.
I could watch all three every day for the rest of my life and never get tired of it.
I watched all three of them a week ago.
That's the way. Was it after that documentary?
It was after the Movies That Made Us came out with that episode. I watched them as soon as I finished it.
I really need to find the time to watch that. Was there any interesting things you found out about it?
Oh, yeah, actually, I did find out a couple cool things about it. That the lady, I don't remember her name now, but she plays Jan in The Office, was originally the love interest for Eric Stoltz. But after he didn't work out and they had to get rid of him for Michael J. Fox, which, by the way, was their first choice in the beginning.
Family Ties.
They had to split time with Family Ties. But because she was 3 inches taller than Michael J. Fox, they ended up cutting her and recasting her.
Oh, it's the Tom Cruise effect.
Yes. I believe there were actually scenes where he had to stand on something to make the height difference with Christopher Lloyd not so noticeable.
Yeah,
and they shot it in a way
that was throughout the whole series.
Yeah, he also would hunch. Christopher Lloyd would hunch at times because he's a tall guy.
Yes,
and then they would shoot it in a way to keep them looking more level a lot of the time. How tall is Michael J. Fox? He's got to be like 5'6" or something, right?
He's shorter than I am.
I don't think he's even that, honestly.
Wow. Okay. we could talk about. I could talk about this movie all day, but
Yeah.
what's another one of your guys's?
The way I kind of did my list, I'm just going to read a few at a time so everybody has a chance to get in. But I kind of broke mine down in a few different categories. One that I just briefly want to talk about is two movies in particular, and these are two sports movies that still hold up as a few of my favorite in the genre. From a young age, I watched Remember the Titans, still might be my favorite football movie of all time, and of course, the fucking Sandlot.
Oh yes.
Oh, I will love the Sandlot forever.
You're killing me, Smalls.
It's a good one, but it's not my favorite baseball movie.
What do you got?
Field of Dreams.
Yep, that's a good one too.
It's
here's
one
a
of my
hot
favorite
take.
movies of all time. Yeah, you're gonna hurt me.
I don't like Field of Dreams.
Oh, man, that movie. I can't help that.
You
that
didn't
movie
build it,
really
did you?
makes me cry at the end.
They didn't come.
They never came.
I did build it. They didn't come. That movie's full of shit.
Ow.
That's where I disagree. When I watched that movie, I came about 3 times.
That movie gets me every time. I love it. I thought it was newer than 1989. It blew my mind when I was double checking some info. I was like, "Wait, really?"
It's definitely-
it was 89?
It's definitely beautiful for the time it was shot. I'll give it that.
I'm shocked when you were mentioning sports movies, you didn't mention Varsity Blues.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love Varsity Blues.
That's more of a popcorn film. It's fun to watch. It's enjoyable, but it's not like a deep favorite movie.
Yeah, and I think that's what kind of drew me to the other two movies is there's like a deeper message in there.
Remember the Titans is just
Oh.
not even just sports movies. It's just one of the better movies.
Excellent movie.
Really, the only message you got from Varsity Blues was that a bikini will stay on a girl if it's made from whipped cream.
That's true.
What is wrong with that?
There's a lot of things wrong with it staying on.
Oh well.
And also you learned that the best name for a pig is Bacon, not Babe.
That's right.
Well, clearly.
Yeah, no, but Mike, you definitely make a good point. Varsity Blues. It's another one of my favorite sports movies, honestly. I don't know, it doesn't top Remember the Titans. Like Doug said, that's not even a sports movie. That's one of my favorite movies.
I'm just caught remembering The Sixth Man now as we talk about sports movies. So many.
We'll have to do a whole episode on sports movies because there
Oh,
are
yeah,
so
for
many
sure.
good ones.
Yeah, Corey and Mike, you might be familiar. I don't know if Doug is as much, but our science teacher in middle school used to play Remember the Titans on repeat. Mr.
Oh,
Smith,
yeah.
Mr. Smith loved that movie,
I mean, it's an excellent movie.
and he was a football coach, so it made sense.
Oh yeah. Jeez, I almost forgot who Mr. Smith was.
I
Jeez.
do. I watch that movie. I watch that movie once a year. So
It's an interesting one to have like on a once a year schedule. I just watch it if it comes up. Like I can't turn it down. I just don't think about it.
I have it on my list on Disney Plus, and every once in a while when I open that to see what there is, I watch it.
Everybody loves Ryan Gosling now, but people forget that he was a liability at cornerback.
it's very true.
He almost screwed their whole team up.
Wait,
Coach, you can't take my son out.
he was it. I didn't even realize that was him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is
Oh my
Ethan
God.
Suppley's in that movie too.
There are a lot of big names in that movie that you don't realize till you go back and watch it.
Did you guys know Denzel Washington's in that movie?
Whoa!
What?
I hear he's
My
an
mind's
becoming actor. We should really keep our eye on him. He might do
Yeah.
something good someday.
So what do you guys think? You have anything you want to start off?
From the first day I saw it when I was a kid to this day, if Ghostbusters is anywhere near my TV, I'm watching every second of it and I'm laughing the whole time. I love those first two Ghostbuster movies almost more than any other
Who's
movies.
your favorite Ghostbuster?
Ooh.
Who's my favorite Ghostbuster?
Yeah,
Oh,
which one?
Wow, that's a difficult question.
nah, mine's easy.
I honestly think I like Venkman just because he's a nerd.
Yeah, same. That's my
Yep.
favorite one.
Venkman's my favorite too.
How come I knew you were going to say that?
I don't know. Venkman's, he's got my
I
number.
feel like yours is gonna be different, Adrian.
I just love Bill Murray in general though.
I mean, yeah, it's Bill Murray. Any movie that Bill Murray's in, he's my favorite character. So you go through his filmography, Bill Murray. Zombieland, Bill Murray. Lost in Translation, Bill Murray. Groundhog Day, Bill Murray.
Space Jam.
Bugs Bunny.
Oh,
Bugs Bunny, but Bill Murray's a close second.
Bill Murray saved the world, the whole world in that
That's
movie.
true.
But we're not talking about movies that I think have aged poorly yet. Speaking of Space Jam,
Save it.
I'm pretty sure
I love Space Jam. Still
gonna
to this day.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure one of you might have it on your positive list, so I don't know if that's something we're going to get into now or later.
Yeah, it's on my still holds up.
I'd like to add, first off, R.I.P. to Charles Grodin. He's in this amazing movie, Midnight Run. I don't know if any of you have ever seen
Midnight
that,
Run is
I don't know
classic.
who that is or what that is.
All right, you ever seen the Beethoven movie?
The what?
You ever seen Beethoven?
The
With
dog.
the dog.
No, I've never really watched any of the dog
my God.
movies that are
Alright, so-
popular.
Midnight Run is a rare Robert De Niro movie where he's actually not like this ultimate badass. Like everything bad keeps happening. Things don't go his way. Usually he's like the cool, calm.
You've seen Raging Bull, right?
Yeah. I said usually. All right. Most of his movies, he's like, but no, Midnight Run is one of my. I can watch that movie on repeat.
What's it about?
Robert De Niro is a bounty hunter. He used to be a former cop, and Charles Grodin's character was an accountant that happened to work for a mobster. And when he found out what he was doing, he started embezzling the mobster's money. And the guy that Robert De Niro works for is the one that bailed Charles Grodin out. There's a lot more to the story. Like it's actually like really like in depth and good. Like I'm not going to give it all away. You should definitely watch the movie though. I think you'd like it.
Do you know when it's from?
I believe 89,
Oh,
1988.
88.
thank you. Pull that
Yeah.
up, Jamie.
Yeah, Robert De Niro is young in that movie.
We don't have a Jamie. I'm kidding.
Robert De Niro was never young, but he's younger.
I was going to say,
Yeah, you know what I mean.
in 1988, I think Robert De Niro was about 62.
He looked 73.
Robert De Niro. I don't know. I can only see him as like Taxi Driver and
Oh,
Raging
my
Bull.
God, yes.
Like,
Yeah.
and
Fucking
he's not really a
gypsy cat.
good guy in any of those movies.
I try not to think of Robert De Niro nowadays at all because it's all kind of dad comedy, and that's not what I don't know. Dirty Grandpa and The Fockers, and there's a movie called Righteous Kill with Robert De Niro.
And Al Pacino. Yeah,
That was
movie
okay.
was all right. Yeah,
It was a bit of a mess.
Yeah, like the more I think about it, the less there's not really all that many Robert De Niro movies I care much about.
There's not a lot, no.
yeah. Midnight Run's really the only one that I love.
He's in Goodfellas, right? Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite movie with him.
He's in one of the Godfather
I think
movies.
he's in
isn't he?
Godfather 2 or 3.
Oh yeah, dude, he plays young Vito Corleone.
I was gonna say you love the Godfather movies.
Yeah,
so I imagine.
I just wasn't in a mob movie like mentality.
Well,
right now.
he's
It's
done
not
a
really
lot
something
of
I
mob
watched when I
movies.
was younger. You know, I grew up and watched mob movies.
A mob mentality. That sounds
Yes.
like a
if
thing.
you will.
Yeah, another little subcategory I have, and these two movies like couldn't be further opposite of each other. But these are movies I have heavy nostalgia for. They're a couple Christmas movies. You probably know where I'm going one direction. Die Hard is action movies aren't really my genre, but Die Hard, like to me, transcends the action genre. I could watch that movie like once every couple months.
It's a Christmas movie, not an action movie.
Exactly. And I absolutely love Die Hard. And of course, going the other complete direction, Home Alone is a movie that I never get tired of.
But not Christmas Vacation.
Like National Lampoons,
Yeah.
it doesn't have the same rewatchability.
That's my all-time favorite Christmas movie.
I hate the Christmas Vacation movie. Hate it. I absolutely hate it.
What? You're the first person I've ever heard that doesn't like that movie.
There's not a single thing that Chevy Chase is in that I enjoy except Hot Tub Time Machine.
What about Groundhog Day?
What a call.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he was in
Not
that.
even not Groundhog Day, but Caddyshack. What about
Nope.
Caddyshack?
I fucking
Don't
love
like
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack.
Bill Murray's part in Caddyshack is amazing. Oh, we're back on Bill
I'm
Murray.
in literal shock at the moment. I have no words.
Bill fucking Murray.
I get a lot of crap for not liking like Caddyshack and
I'm just so caught off guard. I would have never guessed.
As somebody who's huge in like comedy, I'm shocked you don't like Caddyshack.
I don't like Chevy Chase in any way, shape, or form.
Is it because of him, or just you genuinely don't find it
I
funny?
don't find him funny.
Okay.
That's fair.
If I'm correct, you're not really a fan of National Lampoon's much of anything, are you?
No, not really.
There's only two movies I like.
Did you like Van Wilder?
I love Van Wilder.
I forget
that's
that's
about
a National Lampoon movie.
Same.
Like when I think National Lampoon, I just think of Vacation, Christmas Vacation, and Vegas Vacation. Then after that,
Did you like the new Vacation movie
With Ed Helms.
with Ed Helms?
I wasn't gonna watch that. That's
Uh,
really
It was
never
actually
saw
pretty good.
I don't know.
But he's supposed to be the grown up son, right?
Yeah, he's rusty.
Rusty, okay, yeah. I never saw it.
here's where the aging millennial part comes out. I'm tired of them bringing back old classics and trying to like redo them or reinvent them.
Well, I mean, the Jay and
So,
Silent Bob did a joke about that by redoing their reboot, which is
That's
actually a sequel.
parody.
Oh, it was great though.
Yeah, that movie was fantastic, but I love Kevin Smith.
what are your thoughts on Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer?
That is a true sequel, and I don't think I think it's different. The whole Ed Helms thing, they're trying to like recapture this. That wasn't the kind of movie that had a future. It was supposed to be like the comedies like that aren't really supposed to. I don't know. It's maybe I just have this weird opinion on it. It's just weird to me to see them like those movies haven't been popular.
I get
In a long time.
the tradition family value of my dad took me to this place, so now I'm going to go on a vacation with my kids. I get why they made the movie, and it did kind of make sense to have Rusty be kind of like his dad, but it was too much of a remake. Even within the sequel, it was too much of a remake.
It just seemed like they were trying to just redo the last one and like make it make sense the best way they could after the fact. It was, I don't know how to explain it. I could be wrong. I could just be being stubborn, but I don't know. Movies like that just aren't family values. They're just comedies. They're not, and they're trying to like turn it into like this weird, this is a family value vacation movie, but it's still a comedy that is kind of not for kids at all.
Yeah, not really at all.
No,
There was a dead grandma in the car with him the whole time in the first one. That's really,
If you want a true family values feel good vacation movie, you just need to watch Where Are the Millers.
yeah,
I
That
don't
yes.
know what that is.
I love that movie. That's so good. But I mean, speaking of movies that shouldn't be remade, they're to me an instant classic. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I could watch that movie over and over again too.
Is that
I
one
have.
that you liked when you were for a
Yeah.
long time?
Yeah, that's on my list.
I watch it every Thanksgiving, and I'm not real thrilled about the fact that they're remaking it at all.
No, like leave it alone. It was perfect.
Mike, also smooth transition there. I was talking about Home Alone. You went with the John Candy train.
I actually wanted to come back to Home Alone because you only said Home Alone 1. I was curious if you did. What do you think about 2?
I mean, I pretty equally like 2. I enjoyed the first 2 movies.
I more prefer 3.
They got really good, with 3 with Scarlett
We're
Johansson.
going to pretend you didn't say that.
It was a joke.
And if anyone's asking, that was Mike. Mike is the one that said Home Alone 3 was better.
It was a joke.
We know people are still learning voices. By the way, Mike's favorite movie is the Chips remake.
Just so you all know.
He's going to deny it because he's ashamed, but he told us in confidence. And we're spewing it all for
my
you. here.
God.
We shit all over that confidence just now.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I would say I slightly give the edge to the original Home Alone.
Yeah.
Just because the second one, like, you can't really capture that lightning in the bottle in the same way 2 times in a row. Like, I appreciate that they took it to New York City and whatnot, but I don't know. There's just something about an original, and I feel that way with a lot of trilogies. Like, I love, like you were talking about Back to the Future, and I know I'm not the resident expert on Back to the Future, but the first one will always be my favorite. It just feels like
When I was younger, 2 was my favorite, but as I got older, 1 became my favorite. And
I'm the
not
same
even
way,
really
actually.
I'm not really sure why that shift occurred.
I think because
Something
when you're
about it.
younger, you love the whole like, oh, this is what the future's going to look like. But now as
And
you're older,
now
you're
that
like,
we're several years past that year.
yeah, we're like, well,
it's
that was bullshit.
Yeah, now that we know everything in that movie was a lie, we went back and watched the first one again, and we're like, well, at least the past was the past. I like the first 2 movies in that series equal. I really
Yeah.
don't have a favorite
They're
between the 2.
all 3 are so close.
Home Alone or Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Sorry.
Just wanted to clarify.
But Home Alone,
I like 2 more.
probably close too.
Home Alone 2, I like 2 more.
I know Doug was talking about Back to the Future when he said all 3 hold up for me because I'm like, all right, that's not Home Alone.
Yeah. No, for Back to the Future, all 3 are almost on an equal level to me. At
There's
this point.
5 Home Alone movies, and 3 of them don't belong in the.
We're the sticky
Category.
bandits
I
now.
don't know what you're talking. There are 2 Home Alone movies, and whatever you're saying just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there's
Anyway.
only 2.
Moving on. Speaking of holiday movies, Hocus Pocus.
I'm a fan.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting
rewatch
that.
every single year without fail.
Which every year.
Every year, if I only have time to watch one movie on Halloween, that's the one I go to, even above slashers and whatnot. I
have to admit
don't
I'm
know what it
shocked.
is. I just love Hocus Pocus. Why are you shocked?
I would have never guessed that would have been your favorite Halloween movie.
It's something about it. It just has that
It's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't
kicks
like
me right in the childhood nostalgia. You know,
that makes a lot of sense.
The movie,
Threw me off.
otherwise known as Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and that other girl.
I don't know her name either.
What is her name?
Kathy Najimy.
Is that her name?
Kathy Najimy. Yes.
Wow,
Corey
Did
would
you-
be the one to
did
know.
you know that, or did you look it up?
No, I knew her name. I watch that movie every year. It's sitting on my
I'm
stand.
impressed. I can't name another actor in that movie.
That-
except
that-
the first
that's-
two.
You should be able to name one other.
Isn't
actor
Justin Long in that movie?
That's weird. I see Google in his
Justin
eyeglasses.
I might be wrong. I might be thinking of
That's
a
not
different.
Google.
Halloween
That's not Google.
movie.
That's my list.
Oh wait. Who am I? Who are you talking about?
I might be thinking about a different Halloween movie.
That's the first movie that we all should have fell in love with Doug Jones. He plays Abe Sapien in the Hellboy movies. He's the serpent in Shape of Water. He's always a weird character
What
in
is he in that?
costume. In what?
And
In
Hocus Pocus.
He's Billy, the zombie
What?
that they.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, forgive me for not recognizing that.
Oh,
zombie.
He's very unrecognizable in that movie. Yes, I'll give you that. But yeah, that was the first big Doug Jones like on-screen in crazy character.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, I love Doug Jones.
Doug Jones.
Doug
I'm gonna drop a
Jones.
few more movies, and they're more like so animated because we can't skip any animated films.
Absolutely.
3 for me, the biggest 3. It's gonna be Disney's Hercules, The Fox and the Hound, and Toy Story, the original Toy Story. I love that movie to death. All
Yeah.
3 of those movies.
Man, I can't get into a Disney Pixar hole without mentioning so many movies.
I know. It was hard for me to limit it. I could have sat here naming them, but I wanted to pick like the 3 biggest ones for me, probably.
Yeah, the original Toy Story might still hold up as my favorite animated movie of all time.
It's a toss up for me between Toy Story and The Lion King.
Absolutely.
Mine is probably Aladdin still to this day.
Damn it, I have all 3 of those on my list.
Yeah, like, I could easily put all of those on the list, but Hercules is like my favorite of the newer Disney movies. With Fox and the Hound, it's a lot older, but it's just
I do love Fox and the
See,
Hound.
Fox and the
Yeah.
Hound has a moment in that movie that made me cry earlier than any movie I think ever when she's putting him in the forest and driving away.
that was probably the first movie that made me cry. as a
Yes,
kid.
that's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah,
that
by
was the
far,
earliest
yeah.
I can remember crying at a movie.
Well, it's actually because I probably saw My Girl around the first time too, and that
Oh.
movie still to this day gets me every time.
I won't say what movie made me cry first
Why?
ever.
Why?
It is a Walk to Remember.
I don't know what that is.
That's the first movie that ever made you cry.
Mm-hmm.
That movie's only like 10 years old.
we got.
I'm heartless.
Mike's emotionally stunned.
The other one was you ever see Yours, Mine, and Ours?
No.
No.
There's a moment where this little kid, he's like, I don't want to lose another mommy. I don't know why I tear up when he says it.
You really have a way of like name dropping these movies. I have just never.
It's a
heard
Dennis
of.
Quaid movie.
Like, I
It's
don't know where these come from.
It's a gift.
You just seem to like be able to rattle off just movies.
I mean, there's like a million movies. It's not hard to do.
They do make a lot of movies. I just want to mention Danny DeVito. He's been on a roll with animated movies. We've already covered Space Jam and we got Hercules.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Danny DeVito, because there are new versions of it that actually were awesome. Jumanji, the original,
Yes, that is definitely on my list.
and also one exception to the
Remakes.
Not
Yeah.
It's not even a remake. It is a sequel that paid homage to the original that did it right, where in compares
Yes.
to the Vacation that we talked about.
They took the old board game idea and poured it into the new generation of video games. They found a clever way because nowadays, I mean, most people don't sit down and play board games together, especially teenagers in high school.
They play Monopoly on their Nintendo
Yeah.
Switch.
Yes, they do it digitally, which is why
Exactly.
these new Jumanji movies decided, let's put it in an old video game. Most people will go for that,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
worked.
10 out of they knocked it out of the park.
They
It was
nailed
a
it.
Grand Slam idea.
I'm honestly shocked. I'm shocked none of you mentioned the Beverly Hills Cops movies.
Never seen them.
Really?
Don't
Never seen
care
them.
for them.
Oh,
What?
Beverly Hill Cops 2 definitely still holds
Like,
up as a great movie.
1 and 2, I love both of them. 3 sucked, but
I didn't really watch them until. Well, I didn't really watch movies like that until I was a little older. Honestly,
that's fair.
It's really weird, but my favorite Eddie Murphy movie is Harlem Nights.
That's
Oh,
a
really?
really good movie.
Yeah, I don't know why it's my favorite, but it is. He's so good in it.
I don't
It's a
think
really
I've
good
seen
movie.
enough Eddie Murphy movies to really. I get like Nutty Professor's the only one I
He
can
did
think
some
of.
really bad movies when he decided to become kid friendly, like
Like
Daddy
1,000
Daycare and
1,000 words.
Mike, he
words.
just said Nutty Professor.
I think that's like the only one I've seen him. I can't even think of his older movies that I've actually seen. He's just like an actor I've just never really like found myself watching for some reason. I don't know why. It's not like I can't think of any other than that one.
Did you see the movie? Something about the Incredible Mr. Church or something, Mr. Church recently?
Oh, I heard that. I heard it was really good.
Never heard of it.
I haven't seen it.
Wait, is he in a new movie?
It's at this point, it's probably a few years old.
It came out in the 2010s.
He pretty
I
much
believe.
becomes like this girl's mom's caretaker because she's dying, and the mom eventually passes away, and he just like forms this bond with the little girl, and it's a really awesome movie.
That does not sound like an Eddie Murphy movie.
Right? Yeah.
Right. My thoughts exactly.
I do love when actors go outside that typecast that we put them in, though.
Sometimes it
always
works. It's
ends
called
well.
Mr. Church.
Mr.
There is-
Church. I'll have to
There's
keep that in mind.
one more movie that I'd like to mention,
Okay.
and it's a horror. It would be considered in the horror genre. It's They Live.
I like They Live, actually.
They live.
I don't know what that is.
It's a movie featuring Rowdy Piper.
Yeah. He's like, when he was trying to be like a super action star guy.
Yeah. Oh my! It's the only movie that I like that he did. You need to see it if you haven't seen it.
Maybe we'll
He
see.
does some roundhouse kicks in it
Oh boy, like Roadhouse
before he was the animal.
before he was the end.
So basically, this premise that there are aliens living among us, and only special glasses can see them, and he gets a hold of them. He starts fucking going crazy.
that just sounds so familiar. But
It's one of those movies that was on Spike TV when we were a kid all the time. So you probably did see it in the background without even realizing.
I'm sure there's tons of movies that I've seen that I just
I believe that is actually where the original line of "Chew Bubble Gum" and "Kick Ass" came from.
I believe
Before Duke Nukem said it.
You said that back. You said that wrong. I'm just.
Did I say it backwards?
It's time to kick it and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Yeah, that. All right, well, okay, I said it backwards, but I believe that is where the line came from originally.
I think you're right about that, actually.
I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum.
All right. Any last ones that we want to get out? There's infinite movies I could keep talking about for this, but time's a ticking, and we got to keep on moving.
Well, I gotta throw in there that
Throw them out.
I still love. I'll never stop loving the Tim Burton Batman movies. Huge fan.
You're blind as a bat. I just love Jim Carrey.
No, not Jim Carrey. The Tim Burton Batman movies are
That
Batman
was
and Batman
technically
Returns.
a Tim Burton
Yeah.
one. He
No,
was
it
just
wasn't.
busy at the
It
time.
was Schumacher.
Yeah, because
Joel
it was
Schumacher.
still shot under the style of him. But it
Schumacher was not.
That one.
They tried. They failed miserably.
He is the one that put Schumacher there.
No. What I'm saying is, if Schumacher was trying to copy Tim Burton in that third movie, he failed miserably. He made it like a neon, stupid city with all these clown-like characters with big gloves and giant fingers on them. It was stupid. It's horrible.
If I'm not mistaken, the Tim Burton Batman movies weren't actually directed by Tim Burton. He was just the name and had someone as a stand-in because he was doing work elsewhere.
Yes, but he had every say over what happened in those movies. He oversaw the entire project.
I actually thought he was involved with Forever.
He's not part of Forever. Tim Burton was just Batman and Batman Returns with Danny DeVito and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Man, all the live action movies before the Nolan movies are just like they're just all so random. They all suck in my opinion, but
Nobody knows us, our personalities yet, but I'm not the biggest comic book person, so I'm not going to be able to spout off these facts. But I do like how Batman Returns it almost has like a darker, almost horror feel to it at times. Like when I was watching that movie as a little kid, it kind of spooked me out in a lot of moments.
Like even the music was ominous and in like almost a horror movie style.
Yeah,
And Danny DeVito's character is like a monster. He's not.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
I feel like any time like Catwoman was about to come on the screen, like the music that they played for her was very kind of like eerie.
All right, I'm just going to spout a few off. We don't have to go into insane detail. I just want to say a few more because I have so many on this list, and we're not going to get to like any of
Knock
them.
them out.
Okay, so Dumb and Dumber, classic.
Yes,
absolutely.
It's one of my favorite Jim Carrey movies, if not my favorite. It's probably the one I've revisited the most out of his entire filmography.
For me, that of The Mask.
Ooh, The Mask
for the old ones. Yeah.
The Mask is good. I've heard some people say The Mask doesn't hold up, and I just don't get that.
I disorgree.
I think it's great.
I totally disagree. Yeah,
the perfect.
No sense of humor. Those people.
He is a literal living cartoon that can morph his face in ways that I thought impossible before seeing it.
Yeah, it's kind of an ode to the old school cartoons. You know, it's pretty cool. You know, the first two Ninja Turtle movies. Then I know a lot of that.
Like time travel movies.
Well, Bill and Ted's. No, but
excellent.
But the first two Ninja Turtle movies, and that could be a lot of nostalgia baked in. I don't know what the general consensus is on those two films. But speaking of, we were talking about earlier movies that we used to like the second one more, and now we like the first as we've grown up. That's a perfect example for me. When I was a kid, I was all about Secret of the Ooze.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I mean, Casey Jones is so much more badass than Keno. I like the April portrayal in the first one better than the actress they got for part 2. And it just has like a deeper theme to it, you know, like family.
It's true. It is much deeper. And like when they think Raph might die, it's a lot sadder than anything that happens in the second one.
Right. And when they take Splinter and like Raph's freaking out, that's just a great moment.
I wish you were more into comic books so you knew a little bit about the TMNT comics.
The manga, yeah.
I just gotta say, Adrian, you gotta be careful when you say the word family. You're gonna make Vin Diesel show.
We are not talking about Vin Diesel.
Family, you don't give a shit about
put
family.
That evil on us, Mike.
All right, so I'm just going to go through. These are just a couple quick one-hitters. You guys can do them if you want. Don't have to talk about them. Willy Wonka. Love that movie. Charlie Bucket. I love a lot of Gene Wilder stuff. Young Frankenstein, Blazing Saddles, all that Mel Brooks kind of filmography.
Absolutely.
So,
Spaceballs.
Yes, absolutely. So
I definitely fall into Willy Wonka whenever it's on, and I am captivated. I love the whole movie. So
that's another example of fuck that remake.
I've never seen the remake.
Worst, don't.
I love Johnny Depp, but Jesus,
don't bother.
I heard it was more true to the book. Or
it
whatever.
Is. It's absolutely true to the book from the title down to the story.
Doesn't mean it's better.
But that does not make the movie better.
I actually liked Return to Oz, or The Great and Powerful Oz with James Franco more than I liked the Johnny Depp remake. Did you guys ever?
Wait, the animated Return to Oz movie?
And have you seen Return to Oz?
Is that the animated one?
It is a true sequel to The Wizard of Oz, but it's not animated. There's like the guys that like their hands are skates, are like roller skates. Dude, this movie is fucking crazy. If you've never seen Return to Oz, it's more like a horror movie. It's wild. But I'd recommend that if you want to laugh your ass off, but it's kind of scary. Hook, speaking of Robin Williams, I'll always love Hook. I think that's like
Rufio.
Yeah, I've never been like a big Peter Pan lore kind of person, but I love Hook. Dustin Hoffman gives a great performance. Obviously, Robin Williams is brilliant.
That was Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, I like everything Peter Pan, so I'm in for that.
Yes, a few more older movies, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, both classics to me. The Breakfast Club.
Oddly enough, Ferris Bueller's Day Off I didn't see until I was in my mid-20s.
That movie.
Yeah.
With all my heart.
It was so hyped. I don't like it. I think the movie's terrible.
Bad.
Oh, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is fantastic.
I'm with you on Ferris Bueller. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like Ferris.
I think if I would have seen it when I was a kid, I probably would have liked it still. But
I felt like Ben Stein. That's how I felt watching that whole movie.
Bueller.
I'm honestly in the Matthew Broderick camp. I like him.
So you like Godzilla 2000?
No. let's not push it that far.
Matthew Broderick didn't like Godzilla 2000.
What
Yeah.
was the movie where he was like at that rich person's house and
Tower
was hiding?
Heist. Oh no,
Tower Heist is an Eddie Murphy movie.
yeah,
Yes, it is. And Matthew Broderick. And
I
Ben-
can't. I
Ben
can't
And Ben Stiller.
Yeah, and Ben
There's
Stiller.
too many. There's a lot of Matthew Broderick. That was an actor who had a really strong period of years.
yeah. He
and
was
then
in War
vanished,
Games way back in the day.
and then
Yeah.
he threw his career away.
He was also the
Godzilla.
the adult voice of Simba.
Yes, he was.
Really,
Speaking of Lion King.
Yes.
really.
Yeah, child Simba was Jonathan Taylor Thomas, and adult was Matthew Broderick.
And in the original, the first Lion King, Matthew Broderick does not sing any of the songs, but in the second one, he does.
That's an incredibly '90s set of voice acting.
Yes, it is.
I can't remember who sings for
Breakfast
Simba.
Club to me, like there's a lot of people like
I
you know
love it.
what the
I
Breakfast
love
Club.
I love the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, to me it's like kind of like the quintessential like high school
It's the
movie.
coming of age tale.
It is. I love it.
Plus, one of the greatest new wave songs came out of that movie.
What?
Don't you
Yep.
forget about me. You know,
Absolutely.
I actually prefer the sequel to Breakfast Club, not another teen movie.
Jake Weiler. Not another teen movie. It's fantastic.
We might hear movies like that come up shortly.
You shut your mouth.
I know this is kind of a little bit more music related, but the band Simple Minds didn't even want to do that song.
Really?
What an almost
it was the-
massive mistake.
It was the only song of theirs that they ever recorded that they didn't write, and they didn't want to do it.
Wow.
And yet
Yeah.
it's the one they'll always be the
Yeah,
most known
absolutely,
for.
it was their only hit.
But I couldn't have named that band until you just said.
They fell into the Warrant Cherry Pie trap.
Yep.
They fucking hate that song.
Oh, just like a flock of seagulls hates, Iran.
Iran.
They won't even play it at concerts.
What? People go to Flock of Seagull concerts? Are you kidding?
No, they don't.
Last two real quick. Just one more animated. Emperor's New Groove.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh my god! I forgot. I didn't even think about that.
That movie
You're
is
off
so
my
insane.
groove.
That movie is so insanely quotable. Like
I
And
love
it
that
had
movie.
A character so popular, it got its own sequel that
Kronk.
actually was
Kronk's New
rare.
Groove.
Yes,
And
Yeah,
an animated show.
it's
Yep.
so rare that
Emperor's New School or something
yeah,
like
it's so rare that a movie can be like that loved that it spawns a show and a spin-off movie, and they're all loved.
Yeah, to me as a 31-year-old man, I still watch that movie and fucking crack up all the time.
Yeah.
It's so quotable. Kronk's one of the best characters ever.
Oh, yeah. It's all coming together.
And last one is I couldn't not mention Jurassic Park, the original. I feel like that's like just I don't
that.
know.
That one's so obvious.
Yeah, I have to say it though.
Yeah.
I do.
I
I do love
didn't
them.
like the sequels. I only liked the first one.
I agree with you.
The third one sucked me. The second
I
one
like,
was
I like
okay.
I like the first two,
The third one
Yeah.
sucked.
and I love that Vince Vaughn's in the third one, but it didn't save it.
Yeah.
I forgot.
But it didn't save
It
it.
didn't save the movie.
What do you think about the nightmare of the new Jurassic Parks that are really, really getting out of control?
I like the first Jurassic World.
It's getting a little weird at this point.
The second one
Yes.
wasn't I think the third one's going to be a disaster.
They never stopped. They only considered if they could, but they never stopped to consider if they should.
If they should.
I'm actually shocked in all of us that none of us ever mentioned the original Star Wars trilogy during this entire thing.
I didn't see it until I was almost 20.
Those are way too obvious. That's why I didn't put them on my list.
There's a lot of movies. that
People
I
are going to realize how much we love Star Wars when we get to those.
Oh,
episodes.
yeah.
get there, and they may
We will
hate
get
some
there.
of our opinions about some of the
Yeah.
movies.
They're gonna hate a lot of our opinions.
There may be multiple entries of Star Wars on my second topic.
Ruh-roh.
Any others that you guys want to get out before
Yeah.
we move on?
Let me throw a couple out there.
Yeah, go for it.
I have huge nostalgia and love, and it was almost in my top 3 actually. Labyrinth. It was a movie I
I've
watched
never
a lot
seen
with
that.
my grandma. It's a Jim Henson movie. It has David Bowie in it.
Yes.
Yeah, he plays.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I watch it all the time.
Huh.
I love it. I love it so much.
Absolutely timeless classic.
Old Yeller. I know not a lot of people probably have ever even seen that movie or know what it even is, but it's a movie from the 40s or 50s about a dog who gets rabies. That's literally all the movie's about.
It's childhood trauma movie.
It's old frontier living and dogs.
Describe a movie plot badly.
I just did.
I was going to say the movie is much better than his description.
I got to throw two more in there just for to make myself happy. Demolition Man.
Yes.
I don't know how many times I've seen that movie.
Oh my God, yes.
It was one of my favorites when I was a kid, and it's still one of my favorite movies.
I can't believe that came up.
Wow,
yes.
what a call.
Oh my God.
And this one's going to be a little more obscure than Demolition Man, but Idle Hands.
Idle Hands. Devon Sawa.
That doesn't even cut my bagels.
I don't know why, but every time I watch that movie, I die the whole way through it. I love that movie.
Do you remember when Devon Sawa was a big thing?
He was.
And Seth Green.
He was going to be huge. Seth Green does everything on the back burner now.
Yeah, Robot Chicken took a lot of his time. I forget he's Chris in Family Guy, and then he was Joker in the Mass Effect series. And
Idle Hands is fantastic.
He used to act though.
And who was that? Jessica Alba?
Jessica,
I
thought it was Jessica
the main girl.
Biel.
No, it wasn't Jessica Biel. I think it's Jessica Alba that's in that movie.
Remember.
You might be right about that.
Yeah, I think it was her. It was like one of her earlier roles.
You mentioned a Stallone movie, and I got a guilty pleasure love of mine from childhood was Over the Top.
The arm wrestling movie.
Yes, I can't hate that movie.
It is Jessica Alba.
Jessica Alba.
And Maximum Overdrive.
Yes.
Tell me somebody else loves that movie.
I love Maximum Overdrive.
Yes.
I think we all do, right? Is
I almost didn't even mention that one because like everybody shits on me for this movie.
Oh, I love Maximum Overdrive.
Everybody here loves. Okay, that I am blown away right now.
When I was a kid, I always expected to put money in a vending machine and the can to shoot out.
Smacked with a fucking can.
I still to this day wonder if the toaster is going to attack me.
Well, that's just a transformer.
Yeah,
it's why I've always treated technology with respect. So when they try to take over, they'll remember that I was nice.
I don't know if any of you know this, but I watched a documentary on Maximum Overdrive, and there's a 15-minute segment of those machines killing all those people on that street that kid's seeing on his bike. There's a 15-minute thing that they shot of all those people dying from those things, and it is in Stephen King's safe. He will not show it to anybody.
Wow.
Oh, I wonder why.
Because it was too gruesome. They wouldn't put it in the movie.
Well, now it's probably not too gruesome.
No,
Tell them to grow a set.
At this point, I think he's just trying to wait until an anniversary to put it out.
Oh, probably.
I just now imagine Stephen King safe with like a bunch of money and then just those kills.
Imagine what he shot for the original It that wasn't allowed in the movie.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. Okay.
There's only
Let's
one
not
thing.
go there.
Hey, I'm glad they kept one specific thing out of it.
Oh, we'll talk about the original It. Not in this topic.
Maybe another day.
And it's not one of my three favorite.
Can you guess where it is?
Topic 2. Anyway, I want to throw just a couple more out there. The Karate Kid, the original, just the first one, really.
Yeah,
Happy Gilmore,
Oof.
my favorite Adam Sandler movie, hands down.
my favorite Adam Sandler
I can't believe
movie.
that's not on my list.
Rocky, the whole Rocky series, every last one.
Absolutely.
I have
Even the
Rocky.
Creed movies today. It's I tried to avoid putting everything on here, but like they're just like things like, and I tried to avoid other than Back to the Future, which you might hear later because shocker, it's the best movie ever. But
I was thinking topic 2 for a second. I'm like, what the fuck, Doug?
if I ever say anything else, just like Back to the Future, you have my permission to beat the hell out of me.
Then you have my permission to die.
So
And
we'll just
that is
assume.
on record.
We'll just assume if Doug ever says anything bad about Back to the Future,
I'm in danger and I need help.
he's been
That's my message.
he's been possessed by Crispin Glover.
I'm not safe, and I need somebody needs to come get me. Yeah, Crispin Glover. Oh my God. We'll get into that another day, maybe later.
Hey, speaking of Crispin Glover, one more time, happy Friday the 13th. Real fans know what I'm talking about.
But let's move on to the next bit here, guys. What'd you like when you were younger that you realized probably wasn't all that great today? I'll lead it off. The Every American Pie movie. They are all horrible and all suck.
Yes.
Kind of like can't believe I liked them at one point.
They do not hold up.
That is totally on my list as well.
Every single one.
I still like the first 4.
The first 4.
The first 4?
Yeah, there's American Reunion.
I like American Pie, American Pie 2, American Wedding, and American Reunion. I like them all.
Damn, I'm impressed.
You know what? I dislike American Reunion because it kept Allison Hannigan out of a couple episodes of How I Met Your Mother.
You might be obsessed.
Wow.
Well, damn. Yeah, American Pie just, to me, it's like, I don't know, it's still good for a few laughs, I guess, but it doesn't age well. It feels like the most bro, like, high five. Like,
That part of it does not age well. You're
that
correct.
chick was naked. That's awesome.
That was awesome.
It was pretty awesome. I mean, that's Shannon Elizabeth.
That actually does hold up.
Yeah, never mind. Actually, this movie's fantastic. I now have a revised top 3.
I'm glad I could say literally nothing and sway you guys.
You didn't sway me.
All I had to do was remember
They're
Eugene,
weak.
Eugene Levy and Shannon Elizabeth, and I'm like, I'm in.
So, Jim. It had its moments. I won't deny that. There was a reason I liked it when I was younger, but nowadays I look at that and I actually used to want to watch this movie, huh? My, how times have changed.
That was the thing I sprung for.
Another one I'll just throw out there, and this one, I don't know if this is going to be considered controversial, but I don't think Superbad holds up other than the cop scenes. The rest of the movie is just so forgettable.
No, I actually agree
I
with
knew
that.
this one was going to be...
Oh,
Someone
I
agree.
agree with that.
I thought all 3 of you were going to be against me here.
Corey's on my wavelength.
I couldn't disagree
It
more.
I can't sit through it anymore.
Superbad is like an instant cult classic.
The cops.
Yes, I wish they
are-
would make a
those
movie
scenes
of
are
just them.
great. The rest of the movie is just so.
I like
forgettable.
every single part of that movie.
I do too.
Every
You got some blood on your
character,
pants.
every scene.
To me, that's almost a perfect comedy movie. Like,
Yeah,
that hits
I agree.
all the right notes, in my
I'm not a
opinion.
massive Michael Cera fan, except for the only movie I really like him in is Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim's one of my favorite
I
movies.
love Scott Pilgrim. I love it.
I'm a fan of a lot of Jonah Hill's newer stuff. Actually, I like
He
more of his stuff less
transformed as
than
an actor into he really broke. He's one of the rare actors that broke their typepcast.
last
Really.
movie I saw of his.
Was able
I
to break
absolutely
out of their
loved
typecast and do whatever they want.
was War Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
That
With,
movie was fantastic, and
with
he was
Miles
great. In it.
Teller.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's an underrated movie. That, never gets talked about.
I know, and I was shocked that I had before I watched it. I was like, why is nobody talking about this movie?
Yeah, no, but I think to at least 2 of us, Doug, that's a pretty hot take.
I knew it would be. I actually expected it to be all 3 of you. I'm not
Just
gonna
when it comes to like I said earlier with Back to the Future, I don't think there's a wasted scene as far as a comedy movie goes with Superbad.
I don't know what it is. The rest of it's so forgettable to me anymore. I was like, I just don't see why. I can't even remember why I thought it was so funny before.
Oh, that hurts to hear.
Since Doug threw out his hot take, I suppose I should just throw mine out now too.
It's my favorite part.
One I liked when I was a kid, and I don't get why everybody loves it so much now.
Oh no.
Is Jaws.
Oh, wow.
I don't like it.
We are definitely going to need a bigger
It's
boat.
boring.
We're gonna need a bigger podcast.
Yeah.
So people
Yeah,
can
that's
get out
so
enraged by that.
I love Richard Dreyfuss. How dare you?
Oh, yeah.
Smile, you son of a bitch.
He has a couple great monologues in that movie.
He's in a movie with Bill Murray.
Hey, I understand where you're coming from. I do think
Is it the ending that really just seals the deal and you don't like it?
Well, if I can be more specific about what I don't like about it, it's from the very moment it starts to when the credits roll.
Damn!
it's just that little middle chunk.
It's
That little hour and a half.
all that
middle
stuff in
chunk.
between is just terrible.
Wow.
I have never heard anyone dislike Jaws. So
That's a
why
hot
I-
take.
That's why
every
I said-
sequel, sure. But the first,
Yes.
I think the second half of Jaws is fantastic. Like everything, like with the boat and everything in the boat and beyond. I think that's great. I could do without a lot of the first half, but
it was just the lead up.
it was, of course. But by no means do I think that's a bad
But
movie at all.
I'm just
Oh, don't get me wrong. I understand what people like about it, and
Yeah.
I can sit there and say, yeah, okay, I get it.
It's a
But
killer
for
shark.
me, it just yeah. Thank you. His name was Bruce.
do you dislike the shark movie thing altogether? Out of curiosity,
I do have a small, stupid fear of the ocean, but I don't think that really plays into why I don't like that movie.
it's like the only shark movie I like.
Yeah, I mean, other than Shark Tale.
What about Jaws Revenge?
What about Jaws 3D?
So
Oh,
much
God.
better.
Is that a callback to Back to the Future?
There literally is a Jaws 3.
No, I know, but
Yeah,
there's
that exists.
there's that scene in the Jaws that comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that's not in every version of Back to the Future 2 that's aired.
What?
Yeah, just random.
That's upsetting.
Yeah, the shark thing doesn't happen in when it's played on certain networks.
I wonder if it's like a copyright thing.
Probably.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
I never really looked into it. I've just watched it on every occasion that I've had the opportunity and noticed these things.
When people eventually hear about us and go back and listen to this episode, I'm looking forward to all the comments about Jaws.
I feel like super bad.
How dare you?
Probably
Steven,
gonna.
Steven Spielberg's going to kick your ass.
Bring it on,
dare you.
Spielberg.
This is an '81 Honda.
That's another movie that I can't believe people still enjoy. But
I mean,
I watch
I'm
it
guilty.
all the time.
I love that movie.
anything with Dane Cook is so bad anymore.
That's
Like,
true.
Every single movie that he's in is just
Well,
except Waiting.
There
But
you go.
he was a very, very minor character.
His part doesn't count in Waiting.
I mean,
Welcome
he
to
was the
Thunderdome,
worst of them
bitch.
all. But
I don't think this is a very controversial opinion, probably within this group. But the first time I saw Avatar, it was in the theater, and I had like the full 3D experience, so it was pretty badass.
I had already seen Dances with Wolves, so I was like, why did they totally copy Dances with Wolves?
Honestly, after seeing Avatar like at home, is when I really realized that movie worked best in the theater. Like 90% of that movie is its visuals.
It literally made as much money as it did because that movie came out when 3D glasses were being made.
Right.
That movie would not have made as much money as it did if that hadn't been a new feature and all them beautiful colors weren't popping out of the screen.
Absolutely.
I didn't like it at all.
It's not a good movie.
I didn't see it until
Right.
several years after
Avatar to me was
because I had no
boring.
interest.
Well, James Cameron, fucking, he knew when to release it. Because didn't they say he made that script? They made that script like
held on to that script. For
I'm not
years.
saying that James Cameron isn't a genius for what he accomplished and did. I'm just saying that movie to me is boring.
I'll watch Titanic any day over Avatar.
What
Yeah.
they didn't do right with those Avatar movies, though, is they cast Sam Worthington as the main guy, thinking he was like the future of action heroes.
And I don't even know.
Now
his
where
name.
is he?
Who? Who are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Exactly.
I legitimately don't even know who the fuck that is.
So now he's stuck. They're stuck with him for the next 4 or 5 Avatar movies, and he doesn't even really act anymore.
So we'll see 2 in 75 more years. So
Yes.
They'll get to 4 by 27, 70. So
I would have personally preferred to see Jason Statham in there. Oh, is this Avatar?
Gerard Butler.
Speaking of bad shark movies, Jason Statham.
I'm not even
Oh,
trying.
the Meg.
Oh, the Meg. Oh, I'm the Meg.
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea. LL Cool J. Come on now.
Yeah.
The only good part about Deep Blue Sea was when Marilyn Manson was blasting at the very end for some reason.
Deep Blue Sea or Anaconda? Or you don't care either way.
Here's one. Anaconda's on this list for me.
Wait. Oh, and you mean on the topic too?
Yeah.
I thought you meant one of your top 3 favorites.
No.
Such
I
a
think
great
we would have
movie.
had to rethink this group.
No.
That was the
Ice Cube was good in Friday, but if you want to talk about Anaconda, Boys in the Hood, he was fine, but Anaconda.
His Anaconda don't want none.
That's
to anyone younger who might have just found this interesting, there was a period of time when professional wrestlers thought they had to be movie stars.
That's
And
true.
Hulk Hogan, I'm sure you've heard of him at one point or another for whatever reason.
Better
He
or
thought
worse.
he was an action star and made a series of awful, awful, awful movies that for some reason as a child I could not get enough of. And
I
I'm
loved
so
him too back
glad
then.
I grew up and realized how horrible they all are.
Suburban
That's
Commando
why
is the best one out of all the
There is
terrible
no
ones.
best. They're just
Yeah.
a dumpster fire.
I just mean if you want to watch how terrible they are, I'd suggest
Yes.
that one.
So when you recommended that Roddy Piper movie, I couldn't help but think, I bet it's kind of like these.
Corey, we can transition right to one that we both have on our list with Hulk Hogan.
Yes, and it's gonna pain both of us because
It's
it's a
gonna
huge part
hurt.
of our childhood.
You want to
3
say it?
Ninjas.
3 Ninjas, man.
Uh,
That movie sucks so hard.
oh my god!
You know, I saw it when I was young. We always talked about it. We didn't watch it a whole lot. And then as an adult, I was like, I'll give that one more shot. It is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's funny that you guys say that because, you know, Hulk Hogan's actually in a very brief cameo in one of my movies on this list. And that's
Oh my God,
Muppets from Space.
Why are we talking about Hulk Hogan?
Why is he in these terrible movies?
Because children were drawn to Hogan, and they grew up and realized, wow, he sucked.
This episode is basically Danny DeVito's great and Hulk Hogan sucks.
Oh, and Bill Murray. Bill Murray.
That's just true.
And Bill Murray.
Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, God.
This, honestly, it was harder for me to come up with these movies, but there's a genre. Like, any movie like American Pie, I just look back and I'm like, it's just not there
I would kind
anymore.
of agree with you for the most part.
So you're saying like movies like Road Trip, Euro Trip?
Euro Trip is like
Oh, don't you
an
dare.
exception for me.
Euro
It
Trip is
I
amazing.
think I'm glad you said that
There
because
are
I
so
love
many
Euro Trip.
moments that are just funny, not because they were trying to do bro stuff, but
Right.
because it was genuinely funny.
Road Trip was a very bro movie.
Euro Trip is ultimately rewatchable. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely.
It's an exception. Like, regular Road Trip, I don't know if I'd like as much.
Yeah, I've seen it since, and I don't really care about it.
Sean William Scott's in it, and he does the same role that he does in the American Pie movies. So
The only part I like about Road Trip the last time I saw it was Tom Green's character back at college.
oh, with the
Yeah,
snake.
Figure out how to trying to figure out how to feed the snake.
And
Yeah.
you've probably never heard of Tom Green, but he was a psychopath that was in movies and just was allowed to be insane on camera.
And he played really terrible music.
If any of our younger crowd is familiar with Eric Andre now and his extremist humor, he has Tom Green to thank.
Tom Green, not only did he pave the way for it, but he still is the peak of it.
Remember when there was like Tom Green versus Andy Dick? Remember when that was a thing?
Oh yeah, Andy Dick's another one of those guys that I kind of like.
What the fuck?
He's so fucking out of his mind, man. And it's just like, I can't stop looking. I can't stop watching.
The only thing I've ever enjoyed him in is Employee of the Month.
Absolutely. That's like the one exception where Dane Cook was decent. Dak Shepard was kind of funny. Andy Dick made me laugh. How did all that shit combine for a decent movie?
This is photos in about an hour. So when will they be ready? In about an hour.
In about an hour.
Speaking of 1 hour photo, I'm kidding.
Oh.
That movie's
I love
fantastic.
Hey, action. I love it too. But
I love
speaking
it. I
of,
love it.
since you brought up Robin Williams, I have one. Is
Which
a big
one?
part of my childhood. Flubber.
Oh God!
Flubber really is hard to
I
watch.
haven't tried to
now.
watch it since I was a kid.
It's a rough movie.
Is it really? I was thinking you were going to go with like Mrs. Doubtfire or something.
Oh, I love Mrs. Doubtfire stuff.
Yeah.
See, I was never really the biggest fan of it. So it's not like I grew out of it. It's just like, it was always like, okay, this is a movie.
This is a movie.
I'm probably about to do that thing that Doug complained about earlier and mention another movie he's never heard of.
I wasn't complaining. I was just impressed more than anything.
It's also another Robin Williams movie. I loved it as a kid. I tried watching it as an adult, and it's just so fucking boring. Cadillac, man.
What the fuck?
Oh, wait.
Where did you grow up? Like, where? Like, what are these movies?
I told you. I knew he wouldn't know it.
I'm starting to think you're making these up.
Like, it's
Yeah,
just
you remember
without
that? You remember that movie with Ben Stiller, Cadillac Supreme, and there was the one with Ben Affleck, Horse Daddy. You remember that movie, Horse Daddy?
Cadillac Coupe de Ville.
Like, there are movies that sound fake that I know are real, like, you know, Flash Gordon and Beastmasters 2.
Now, was this like superhero movies before superhero movies? Cadillac Man.
You could
No,
transform
the whole
into a Cadillac.
premise of the movie is this guy is pissed off.
I just see Batman in the Dark Knight in his motorcycle, but it's just like him turning into a
The whole
Cadillac.
point of this movie is this guy is pissed off that his wife, who works at this dealership, is sleeping with one of her coworkers, and Robin Williams is one of the people that works at this dealership. So the whole movie is just them in a hostage situation at a car lot.
Is this a movie you don't like now, or are you
Yeah, I don't. It's just it's too boring to me.
okay?
But I really liked it when I was a kid. I don't
And
know why.
it's a Robin Williams movie.
Mhm.
Wow, I've heard a lot of things about Robin Williams movies, but not really boring. I might have to watch it.
Everybody has a bad movie. Jim Carrey was in a movie called Earth, Women Are Easy. Him and Damon Wayne both.
Yeah.
And it was the one of, to this day, might be the worst movie I've ever tried to watch. I couldn't even get through it.
The Number 23. Did you ever see that?
No, that was
No.
bad. That was
It
rough.
seemed not really in my wheelhouse. It's one of those movies that acts deep, but it's really not.
I don't even care for that kind of genre of movie, and I only watched it because I was a huge Jim Carrey fan, and I was like, this sucks.
See, I like that genre movie, but that one was bad.
They tried really hard to make the number in the movie like, come around again and again, and they tried too hard.
That's what the kids today call a try hard. Go ahead, Corey.
Do kids even say that
We
still?
already talked about Die Hard. I want to talk about another couple of movies that are on my didn't hold up list. Since I threw in the Tim Burton Batmans, I have to throw in the Schumachers in this list. I liked them when I was a kid. I didn't care about the bat nipples. That didn't bother me when I was a kid. Didn't even really notice it. I thought it was hilarious that he had the bat card, never leave the cave without it. Now when I try to watch those things, it literally makes my toes hurt. I can't listen to it.
I have
Batman
both of those.
Forever is a guilty pleasure movie of mine, and I can't, and I know I'll never be able to hate it.
It's because of Jim
I
Carrey,
just
right?
love Jim Carrey so much.
I have both of those on my list as well.
That's just the Forever is much more forgivable because of Jim Carrey.
You know, since we're hurting each other, Jack Nicholson was not a good Joker.
Jack Nicholson was the third best Joker to ever be on anything.
He was not good.
Wait, who's
He's
number two?
Very, very good.
I think I know who
two
your
would
number
be
one is.
Heath Ledger.
Who's number one?
Yeah, number one's
Number
Mark
one is
Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Okay.
And then number 3 would be Joaquin Phoenix.
What about Joaquin Phoenix?
Joaquin Phoenix.
He's third?
For those of you that aren't aware, it's an inside joke. Adrian doesn't know how to say Joaquin Phoenix.
This is like a real argument with me and Corey right now.
Joaquin.
Yeah, he's third, not fourth.
He's fourth.
I have yet to see the Joker movie.
What?
Oh, it's
Oh, man, it's
so
excellent.
good.
I've yet to see it.
It had a 7-minute standing ovation
Listen,
at the French Film
That's you
Festival.
haven't seen the Snyder cut yet.
They're not even comparable.
Well,
He hasn't seen episode 9 yet.
he doesn't need
But
to.
was
You ruined it for him.
spoiled for me.
Yeah, that movie sucks ass
You're
anyways.
just mad that 7 and 8 are better than the entire original
Oh.
trilogy.
I'm so mad.
Whoa.
No, the Joel Schumacher movies, like, I really hated all the choices. Like, I hate Chris O'Donnell as Robin. I'm not saying it doesn't fit comic book standards. This is just me, a casual movie fan. I just hated that choice for Robin. I hated Batgirl. And I hate how, like, when she broke into the Batcave, like, Alfred just welcomed her. Like, his voice, like, welcome to the Batcave. like, when you break into something, like, shouldn't there be, like, a fucking security?
None of the live-action Batman movies were any good, honestly. Forever was a guilty pleasure, but they were all really bad until the Christopher Nolan movies. That was, like, the first time the live-action ones were any good.
I will say this: the biggest. Hold on. There's one thing I will say. I'll give Doug credit for, and that is that, like, the first 2 Tim Burton films, like, it was almost painful as we're older now to watch Michael Keaton have to turn his whole body like this.
It's very funny.
Yeah, but it's not good.
I couldn't disagree more. I'm getting so mad right now. Let's move on.
I can tell. I've never actually
Hey,
seen you get this
Hey,
bad.
Batman Begins, he had to turn his whole body.
Yeah. How about that? Anyway, let's move on. Does anybody have anything else?
That's a plot point of The Dark Knight. Like, he's too robotic.
We'll move on.
Well, you know, I brought up Star Wars, so I want to get into them real quick. And remember, these are movies I liked at one point, and now I don't care for. It's not like they were shit the whole time, like Episode 8 and 9. When I was very young, I saw episodes 1 and 2 in the theaters, and I was like 9 and 11, 12 years old when these movies came out, so I thought they were the shit.
Yeah. I remember that.
Episodes 1 and 2 do not hold up at all.
I don't think 1 was ever good.
Right. Well, but I was a kid. I thought it was good. I did,
The
personally.
fucking pod racing scene was way too long.
George Lucas simply cannot write dialogue. I don't know.
No.
I don't know why this man continues to write his own scripts when it comes to these movies.
He doesn't. He sold it.
Right. Well, now
Yeah, look how much better they are.
the dialogue is so robotic in
They
those
are.
movies, and the first 2 are just like,
There's something I heard. There's a line I read something somebody said, and it was like the most impressive part about Star Wars is the fact that it wasn't that George Lucas was a good writer or director. It was that they were good in spite of him being in charge of all those things.
yeah, I would totally agree
It
with
was
that.
almost a miracle.
Yeah, I would agree with
It's
that.
all the visual effects, man. Especially like when the first, like the original trilogy came out, the special effects for that time, they blew people away.
That first movie, he barely had a budget. Nobody believed a sci-fi movie like that was going to work. Nobody.
Right.
It was a game changer.
It was the first.
Which
It was
why
the,
I like
the
four
first
a
of
lot.
its kind. And then my other hotter take that you guys might not like with Star Wars is I don't like Rogue One. To me, I don't like any of the characters aside from Jin. The first 2/3 of the movie is slow as shit. And they pretty much made an entire movie around one faulty premise in A New Hope of why is there a self-destruct button on the Death Star? So they took that premise and they made a whole fucking movie about it. And the first 2/3 of this movie, I can't watch it without falling asleep, honestly.
I actually fell asleep to the Han Solo movie.
I never liked the Han Solo movie in the first place.
More than 2/3 of fans always wanted to know why there was a self-destruct button at all. Why that port even existed.
I don't like that you guys are calling it a self-destruct button.
They call it a self-destruct button in Rogue One.
I know, but
I am one of those people who grew up watching those movies being like, nah, that's the only problem with New Hope is why the hell was that hole even there? That wouldn't be there. So when they made Rogue One and explained it, I actually really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I love that movie. I love Rogue One.
Rogue One is excellently done. Adrian,
I think it's actually one of the best Star Wars movies, period, personally.
Couldn't disagree more.
It's up on the list for me, for sure.
That movie is boring as shit.
I love the blind guy.
It's better than episodes 1 and 2. It's probably better than episode 8 and 9.
That's Donnie Yen. Thank you very much.
Him and I love what's the droid's name in Rogue One?
Yeah, Donnie Yen is amazing.
KN. Wait, what is that droid's name in Rogue One? He was pretty cool.
His sassiness was
yeah, that was Alan Tudyk.
Yeah,
I love him.
It's K2SO, I think, right?
Yeah, K2SO. Yes,
and he had more personality than most of the characters.
He is one of the characters.
Wait,
all the human characters.
He was the best droid in any of the Star Wars movies.
God.
So are you ready for another really out there movie?
Oh God, here we go. Welcome to Mike's Corner of no one's ever fucking seen it.
It's a Michael J. Fox movie called High School USA.
I can't believe I've never heard of that.
No, never heard of it.
I remember because here's the thing. No, all these movies.
Not to interrupt you. Do you get on IMDb and find
No.
the least seen movies of actors and watch them?
No. When I was a kid, my mom used to have all these old movies recorded on VHS tapes, and we didn't have cable, so we were always just fucking watching them. And that was one of them. Midnight Run was one of them. Cadillac Man.
Damn it.
We're not here to talk about your origin story.
Well, anyway.
I'm honestly interested to know how I know
Anyway, so I'm sitting. I remember watching High School USA as a kid all the fucking time on repeat while I'm sitting there eating fucking Freezy Pops. And I tried watching it I think it's I don't know, a couple months ago. I was like, this movie's fucking terrible.
Now, if you want to talk about Teen Wolf or Tremors, I can talk about those all day with Michael J. Fox.
Tremors?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Kevin Bacon was in Tremors.
Corey, I think Frighteners.
That's a great movie.
Frighteners is a good movie. Jeffrey Combs is in
Frighteners is what I was thinking of.
I don't like Teen Wolf at all.
Oh, I love Teen Wolf.
I love Teen Wolf.
I don't like Teen Wolf.
Styles, come on.
I don't like that he showed up in How I Met Your Mother.
Teen Wolf 2 had Jason Bateman.
Come on, Kenny. They have a Teen Wolf.
Kenny, you're absolutely killing me. Wait, Corey, did you say Teen Wolf 2 had Jason Bateman?
Teen Wolf 2, Jason Bateman is the kid who turns into a wolf.
Is it really?
Yep.
Wow.
It was a very early.
Here, I thought it was just a shitty MTV show after.
I still think Jason Bateman's an underrated actor.
He's very underrated.
Oh yeah, I love Jason Bateman. No debate there. And then, real quick, I'm just going to bunch these all in one group. We don't have to go into detail about them. 3 shitty horror movies that I don't think hold up. No, not Friday the 13th, Mike and Doug.
Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and what?
Oh, fuck
Halloween.
off. Fuck off. Fuck
I'm
all
kidding.
the way off.
I'm kidding.
Mike pissed me off the most with the Halloween comment.
Yeah, I know. That's actually I couldn't even say that.
Halloween is the one series where the original is probably the best compared to Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th.
I think the originals of all 3 are actually the best in those
Ew.
series.
What the fuck is
Ooh,
your
yeah,
deal?
no, I disagree.
You've known that. It's not a secret.
That's crazy. Yeah, but
Doug thinks the original everything is the best.
I don't.
the people didn't know that, and now they
Certainly
do.
not with Star Wars.
Now they do.
Now they do know that. So we already touched on 1990s It. Tim Curry is the only good thing about that fucking made-for-TV movie.
Tim Curry is so good.
He's so versatile.
He is. And look, the kid and Home Alone too, speaking of. But the kid actors in It are bad, but that's forgivable. They're kids. The adult actors are even worse.
Now you're talking about the old one.
1990 to clarify.
Not the new one. The new ones are good.
Yeah. The second one.
The new one with the first one. Those kid actors fucking bang that out.
Awesome.
Well, you got to watch how you say that if you've read the book.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not really a big.
yeah,
gay
that was an unintentional pun. I apologize.
Oh wow, I didn't even
Own
think
your
of that.
jokes, Mike.
Number 2 is Corey. You might agree with me here. I don't know. I know what you did last summer.
That's on my list too.
Yeah, it's when I was young. I actually liked that movie, and it came out like during the time of like Scream movies and Halloween
Yep.
H2O and The Faculty. Like, and this movie sucks ass.
Very bad.
When you're done, I have just one more thing to add to this.
Oh wait, you have something?
I love the weapon choice of I Know What You Did Last Summer, an ice pick. Great weapon. With
The
the fisherman cloak, the whole thing worked.
Yeah,
The
Billy
movie
Bates.
was just so bad.
Yeah, the movie was awful. It's just that like the mid '90s to the late '90s was really a good time for like horror movies. The new wave of slashers, and like there was actually good characters being developed.
Yes.
That's the one thing the '90s had over cheese of '70s and '80s is the characters usually always sucked in those
Nobody
movies.
cared about any
They
of the
weren't
characters. in those
slashers.
movies.
They were less slasher, more horror. Slasher movies aren't exactly horror movies, in my opinion.
Well, yeah. What you mean, like the '70s?
They
and
are
80s
definitely
or-
different. Yeah.
Like those slasher films, they're not scary.
Well,
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Maybe
but
they were meant to be at the time, but
Scream
nowadays
is definitely a slasher film.
haven't
Oh, yeah,
seen that yet.
absolutely.
Haven't seen that.
Yeah, I
Haven't
can't
seen
believe
it.
you guys haven't seen Scream. That's right. And my third one, which turned me off from the whole series, you might not agree with me here. It was pretty popular at the time, but the original Saw, the more I go back and watch that movie, the acting is just terrible. Like the doctor character, he like loses his fucking American accent as the movie goes on.
I could never believe that series was ever popular. I always thought it was stupid.
Rest in peace. Chester Bennington was in Saw 3.
Oh, was he?
He was
Oh, wow.
the guy. He was the guy that got his back ripped off in the car.
I'm just waiting
No
for you
shit.
guys to finish.
I can tell Corey has something
Yeah,
to
he has
say.
something to say. The twist ending of the original Saw was awesome. Like nobody saw that coming. That legitimately like had my mouth open. But just the acting is so bad. And like the little fucking what's his name, Billy, that comes up on the fucking tricycle. That shit was so stupid to me. Like Saw doesn't hold up at all.
I didn't make it to the ending of the first one. I just so uninterested.
Yes, his name is Billy, the little clown doll that tells them they're playing the game and laughs.
Yes.
Play a game.
I am a Saw fanatic. I love those movies so fucking much.
All of them?
All of them, every single one. I just bought Spiral, haven't watched it yet. I won a competition where they sent me a bunch of Spiral stuff. I almost wore the hat tonight, actually.
Damn.
I am a huge fan of the Saw series.
Okay.
I love them all.
I feel like this topic has been hard for you.
Yes, it has. I told you I'm a super nostalgic person, and movies hold up for me even if they're shitty.
I feel you.
I love
I like
shitty
the Super
movies.
Mario movie, so.
Yeah,
How did you feel about the original Saw? Where do
It's-
you rank
it's
it? Is
one
it
of
like
my
one of your
favorites.
favorites? Okay.
yeah, it's up there.
To be fair, it kind of turned me on. Like I like Saw 2. For whatever reason, I stopped watching after that point. Like I just didn't care anymore.
I love them.
Knowing your take on like the Resident Evils, I'm not surprised you're a big Saw guy.
Oh, you Corey? Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's a movie. That's a movie for series I never liked, so it's not on my list.
I wasn't. I forgot about the movies. I was
Adrian.
just referring to the games.
Remember
I
when
know
Jesse made us watch all of those?
Oh my god, yeah.
when you say all of them,
The
how
first
many?
three, right?
Yeah,
The first,
at the time, I
there's
think it was the
more
first
than that.
3.
Yeah, there's 7 of them now. You talking about the Resident Evil movies?
Jesus,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's 7
There's
of them.
7 of
Yeah.
them?
There's
Yep.
7, and they're remaking it.
I think I stopped giving those movies any chances when the girl could like fucking fly and shit.
Don't get me
I was-
wrong; they went way overboard with those
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
I like
They went the
first
wrong
two.
direction.
I thought the first two were good.
But
personally.
I definitely can sit. I've sat through them multiple times. I enjoy them
Right.
Yeah.
because they do throw enough of the video games in them that I at least been like, oh, there's the dog where his mouth opens in 4 places.
The
or-
first one
Hey,
was
that's Albert
legitimately a
Wesker,
good
yeah.
movie as far as
the
I'm
first one's
concerned.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, it was legitimately
Because it was a
solid-
real zombie movie where they were figuring out how it happened.
Yeah.
And
It's actually one of my favorite zombie movies to this day.
the only other one I have, I just want to throw in there real quick. We don't even really have to talk about it much, but when I was a kid, I loved Wild Wild West.
Oh my
You
god!
love that?
I loved it, and since I've watched it as an adult, I realized how racist it is.
Is it?
How
Ew.
disgustingly racist and sexist it is.
Yes,
And I was just kind of like, all right, I can't really do that.
that movie does not hold up.
No.
I have one more thing. There was this period of time, I think it was 99 or 2000, when the first Scary Movie came out, and it was so good. Everybody
Oh,
loved it. But for some reason, it spawned about a 15-year period of
Oh.
horrible, god-awful, garbage
Yeah.
parody
Yes.
movies.
Oh,
And every single one of them for some reason people liked them back then. They're
Yeah.
just so awful.
They did. People
Only
liked them.
that first one was great. Everything after that was just a
You mean
dumpster fire.
you don't like the
No.
guy with the strong hand?
Nope.
Take my strong hand.
And Corey and I will always say Not Another Teen Movie is one of those parody movies done right.
Yes.
That will never not be funny to us.
Good old Chris Evans.
I was just so
Chris
past
Evans,
those
baby.
movies by then. I didn't even know he was in that.
Yeah,
Oh.
Chris Evans.
The one line in particular makes me and Adrian laugh
Is
harder
it
than
the
anything
Do You Want
else.
to Lick My Knob movie?
No, when they're all doing a montage singing thing at the end, and the kids are sitting there at a diner, and I don't even know why, but this chef turns around and says, "I just jerked off in your French toast."
Oh my god.
It makes us laugh.
Yeah,
so
everybody's
freaking
like
hard.
singing their little part, and the guy's like, "True love is what I want the most. I just jerked off in your French toast."
Wow.
I don't know why. Me and Adrian were talking about it one night. We were laughing so hard we walked to the movies.
Oh,
We walked to the movie rental place, which kids, by the way, we used to have to go to buildings to rent movies. We
VHS tapes.
we were laughing so hard that we went and rented that movie just to take it home and watch that
From
scene.
that line. And then we watched it about 20 times on repeat.
20 times.
Netflix didn't used to exist.
Janie
No.
Briggs
Enjoy.
Janie Briggs got a gun. Stop her, she's got a gun.
That whole movie is great.
Yeah, it is.
And the first two scary movies I love a lot.
Yeah.
But other than those,
the second
I'm
one just didn't have that magic. for
I
me.
loved it. I love the second one.
All right, guys. And with that, you know what time it is.
oh shit!
That's right, Mike. It's time for the top 3.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
I'm fully confident all three of
I'm
mine.
locked in.
Man, my number 3 is just like, oh, it's goddamn, it's so right down the middle. Like I have them both wrote down. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Whoever's confident, go ahead. And
You guys are more confident.
Roll
Go
with
with
it.
one of your number 3s.
set my third in stone just yet.
Corey, after you.
Are we doing our whole list or are we doing threes first?
Just go ahead and go through all 3.
I had to put 3 movies in one spot on this because it's a trilogy. But every single year, without fail, I watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy. And I can't not love Lord of the Rings. Every aspect of the movies, I am such a freaking fan that if they opened up, if they did a fair next year where everybody comes as their favorite Lord of the Rings character, I'd be there dressed up, ordering the authentic food with hairy feet. I'd be running around in a little thing. I would move to the Shire tomorrow if they asked me. I love the Lord of the Rings series.
There's only one return. It's of the Jedi.
I just made some Lord of the Rings nerd. I just made fun of the Lord of the Rings so much I made a nerd puke.
Speaking of, I heard Clerks 3 is happening. But
Yes, it
anyway,
is.
but
I'm
anyway.
actually reading the script right now. Second, and it's been one of my favorite movies since I was a kid. Braveheart. I watch it. I cry. I love it. I can't help it. I watch it front to end. I'm captivated the whole time, and I've seen it probably 50 times. Everything about it. I know that Mel Gibson's a hell of a topic nowadays with how controversial he is, but he's perfect in that movie. Every aspect of him is perfect. I know it isn't 100% accurate to the Scottish lore of William Wallace, but it's a perfectly shot movie and beautifully grungy and blood and gore everywhere. I love it.
Incredibly invigorating.
It's motivating, moving. It makes it, every time I bawl when he's
The
dying.
dude literally gets an entire army to fight for him.
And as far as Mel Gibson goes, I mean, sometimes you just got to separate the art from the
Yes.
person.
I try to do that when something's great. Like I'm a huge Kevin Spacey acting fan. He's
Yeah.
a monster and I hate him as a person, but I can't help it. He's a great actor. But anyway, my number one, and it's probably always going to be my number one. We kind of already touched on the series a little bit. No movie will ever top The Dark Knight for me. Ever, 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 ever. Nothing is better. Heath Ledger, every time I watch it, I sit there at the edge of my seat like I'm watching it for the first time again when Heath Ledger's on screen. I don't like necessarily Christian Bale's Batman voice, but I love everything about that movie from front to end. It's a perfect comic book movie.
My favorite line that I love making fun of is from that movie.
What's that?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Yeah. I actually, the last time I watched it just a couple days ago, literally, right before that happened, I did it. I did that out loud. I'm not wearing hockey pads.
I am totally shocked by your top 3. I'm not going to lie. I thought for sure there was going to be a certain movie overlapping. I'm blown away.
Like movie overlapping with your own list?
with one of mine. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm totally surprised. Okay.
Was it the Green Lantern?
Obviously. No spoilers. I know you like to spoil.
Best Ryan Reynolds movie ever.
Yeah, probably. Did I say that convincingly enough?
No.
Okay, because it was hard to say.
But I ended up seeing The Dark Knight 4 or 5 times in theaters before it was even out of there. It came out like 2 days before my birthday, the year it came out, I think 2008 or something, 8, 9.
7,
But,
I thought.
Yeah, well, whatever year it was, I saw it like 4 or 5 times before it was even out of theaters. I bought the special edition as soon as it came out. I've bought it twice digitally and one 4K. I don't know. I can't help it. It's from the first moment that window blows out at the beginning of the movie, I'm excited.
Actually, if I remember correctly, when you first moved in, I'm pretty sure that's the first movie we fucking watched.
Probably. I mean, I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, I remember how obsessed you were when it came out.
It's up there. I could watch that movie. I never get sick of that entire trilogy.
Nope.
Really.
Well, yeah,
The whole
trilogy is perfect, but
beginning to end, I could watch it beginning to end that trilogy any day of the week.
and I love Bane. Dark Knight
Agreed.
Returns. Anyway,
And Batman and Robin? Yeah, I was more of a Batman and Robin Bane.
oh god,
Burn. Burn. Good, Mike.
So when I was putting together my top 3, I had to think to myself, like, if I were stranded on an island, what movies could I watch for the rest of my life? 1 is Midnight Run, which I talked about earlier. 2 is The Boondock Saints. I fucking love The Boondock Saints ever since I first saw it, even when I was drunk on Everclear.
he's as obsessed with that movie as I am the Dark Knight. I remember that.
Willem Dafoe and all his craziness.
Willem Dafoe is fucking brilliant in that movie.
He was.
It was a shame that when they made the second one, which by the way sucks, it was a shame that he couldn't be in it, and I feel like that's the majority of why it sucked. That, and they recycled a lot of the old jokes. And third, which is really weird, and a lot of people probably aren't super familiar with this Ryan
Oh,
Reynolds
here we
movie.
go again.
No, you guys will know this one. It's definitely Maybe.
Oh,
man.
I think the writing in that movie is very well done. I think that the acting is pretty spot on.
Ryan Reynolds and Abigail Breslin. What
These
a pick.
top 3s are blowing my mind. Like, I cannot believe
I think I could count the number of people I've heard say that's one of their favorite movies on one hand.
I could count it on one finger.
Is it one?
It's one.
I can't believe
I watch it every year.
either of you have no Deadpool. Really,
I love Deadpool, but on it,
holding the mask half the time.
I'm going to tell you. Listen, definitely, maybe it's not even my favorite Ryan Reynolds movie altogether. But like, if I had to, I think I'd rather watch it over and over again than.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
My favorite Ryan Reynolds movie is Hitman's Bodyguard.
Oh,
wow.
That movie's fucking phenomenal.
It is really good. But
I'm like learning things I didn't know about you guys right now.
Mike could have told me that a Ryan Reynolds movie is in his top 3, and you could have given me 20 guesses. I wouldn't have said definitely Maybe.
I would have said Deadpool 20 times. Like,
and Green Lantern once.
As I got all this Deadpool stuff in Green Lantern once.
I would have said 2 guys, a girl, in a pizza house before definitely Maybe.
That's a TV show. Pizza Place.
Pizza
before
place.
we move on too far, I wanted to mention, Corey, you mentioning the Lord of the Rings that kind of surprised. I knew you liked it, but I didn't realize you liked it that much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a yearly tradition for me.
It's not top 3 for me, but yeah, I'm in love with those
And
movies.
it made me so happy to find out that Katie loves those as well, as much as I do. And she loves The Dark Knight.
She passes the test.
She passed many tests.
The test.
She passed, what was that, Adrian? Did you post if they don't laugh at the office, move on?
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves it.
I shared that, actually.
Man, that's like, I need the opposite of that. If they
Adrian
laugh at
posted
the
it. I shared it.
Doug, unfortunately, you're not going to find the opposite of that because everybody loves The Office.
Dude, and the best part about that,
and I die alone.
the best part about that was the girl I was talking to broke her foot, so it was like the Michael Scott. I asked her, I said, what's worse, a foot injury or a head injury? She said, foot. Yeah, Doug doesn't get it. References.
He
don't
will
want to
someday.
get it. I'm not
He
gonna
will.
lie.
As soon as I watch Rick and Morty, he'll get it.
Yeah.
This will come up next week. Doug hasn't watched The Office. I haven't watched Rick and Morty. Deal with it.
Oh, don't deal with it. Get angry as we are.
Yes.
Yeah. Except
Stone
you
them.
guys will defend me and tell him to watch Rick and Morty. I know. Anyway,
All right. I don't. Since Corey did a trilogy for his number 3, I'm going to do two movies that actually, it's the same actor, though. This is like literally a 50-50 split between The Green Mile and Forrest Gump.
Mm.
Tom Hanks, yes, absolutely. And Stephen King is getting some love on my list because I have another Stephen King.
I know which one. that is.
It's not
Yes. Shit, actually, let me revise. No, but yeah, Green Mile and Forrest Gump, just both of them, they just hit the right emotional notes. All three of my movies are dramas, so I guess I really have a theme I'm going with here. But each time, and these are movies that are endlessly rewatchable to me. I kind of love the message in both of them. I like Forrest Gump's angle, how it kind of takes a fun little direction to take the audience through modern American history. I think it's a really cool way to do it. Just as far as The Green Mile, it's like one of the best stories I've ever seen on film. John Coffey, I love the character. And they did so good in that movie making Percy like the most hateable person I've ever watched.
Oh my God.
Like that's a tribute to that actor that he can make that character that fucking hateable.
If you've ever seen anything about that actor afterwards, he is that hateable.
Oh, in real life.
He's
Yes.
just channeling himself.
He's hooked on major drugs. He's marrying like a 17-year-old.
Oh my God.
He's a mess. He's an extreme mess.
Yeah, and I just kind of like that message of, people need to stop being ugly towards each other. And I think all three of my movies kind of have like these overarching messages to them.
The book is also very good before you move on.
I actually need to read that.
Green Mile's a very, very good book.
Number 2 is a movie I literally watch every year, Good Will Hunting.
That was almost on my list.
Robin Williams.
Yeah, it's like three A-list actors, and it's my favorite role by all three of them: Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Robin Williams. It's my even though Ben Affleck's role is very small, it's still just my favorite collaboration.
He's very impactful in that movie, though.
He is Chucky.
Yeah,
the best friend. Yeah,
the
that movie.
speech he gives to
Oh my
move on
God.
is one of the best speeches in any movie.
Yeah, if you're still living here in 10 years, that'll be a fucking insult.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that movie's so powerful to me. It's just a good message about not wasting your potential, which that's kind of what he's doing with his whole fucking life, is ruining his potential.
And I don't know what it is about that movie, man, but when he walks up to knock on his door and he doesn't answer, the smile on Ben Affleck's face before he turns around is perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, the ending gets me emotional every time. Son of a bitch stole my line.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, and just the bond between Will and Sean, which Robin Williams is Sean. It's just so believable,
Yes.
Good Will Hunting.
I think that's my second favorite Robin Williams movie, but it's so close to being the first.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Dead
Yeah,
Poet Society.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's
yes.
such a great movie. So Good Will Hunting, I watch every year without fail. Some point in the year, I'm going to watch it. And number 1, another Stephen King. Corey knows what it is. Shawshank Redemption. That's just my absolute, that's my favorite movie of all time. It's not even close. It's a bit cliche because, a lot of people would call it the greatest movie ever made. It's up there with The Godfather. Some people would say The Dark Knight, even. But Shawshank Redemption is just head and shoulders above any of my other movies. I love the chemistry between Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins. I love Morgan Freeman narrating. That's always soothing, Great cast of...
Since I was young, people have loved it.
I've been known to find some things.
Andy Dufresne.
Andy Dufresne. Yeah, it's just got a great cast of supporting characters. I love everybody in the movie, and I hate the appropriate people that you're supposed to hate, the fucking warden. And it also just has that message of never losing hope. Like even when things are at their absolute worst, like never give up hope. Those are my 3. I love the messages of my 4, I guess, and I love all of them.
You really do cling to that, like that never give up message.
Absolutely,
It
yeah.
surprises me that you don't like the third Batman more.
I didn't say I don't like it.
I meant more. I said more.
Oh, wait, the third Batman. Is that Batman Forever or Batman and Robin?
I think he was referring to I am Gotham's Reckoning.
I wasn't prepared for any of those 3 to be dropped, especially Your Love of Shawshank. That really was like, really?
So since we were kids, man. It's been on his list since we were young.
I got 2. I only really like 2 Stephen King movies, and that's one of them. That and The Shining. Like, other than that, I'm never really been a fan.
The Green Mile?
Oh, yeah, I forget that's him. I forget that's Stephen King.
Yeah,
I like everything Stephen King all the time. Books, movies, everything. I'm a huge fan.
Cujo?
Yep.
Okay, fair enough.
I like both.
You like Cujo, man.
I
You
like
really mean it.
both Pet Cemetery movies. I like the remake.
What's
I like all of
the hotel room?
You like the remake?
The,
The hotel room?
in
1812
The Shining?
or 1312? No. The movie.
Oh, 1408.
1408.
It's just a really evil fucking room.
Yeah,
I
1408.
love that movie. I forgot
John
about
Cusack. It's a very good movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's one of the creepiest songs ever in a movie with a "We've only just begun."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
like,
god, that's so fucking
I was
creepy.
like, wow. Like that to me, that was like the first time I saw a movie of his where I thought the horror like actually rivaled the dread that The Shining puts in with the
Yeah,
Kevin
you're
Bacon.
uncomfortable and chilling the whole time that movie's on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and it was. I think that it was like he achieved like something I
Yes.
don't really feel very often, and then The Shining and that movie have done it for me.
Yeah, I love 1408.
Yeah, well, I haven't been secretive about my number one Uno movie of all time, Back to the Future. It's just since I was 4 years old, like as far back as I can remember, I've just been a unbelievably big fan of that entire trilogy. But the first one is just the best, even though they're all basically on the same level. I don't know what it is. It's just the time travel aspect. It was to this day, like the concept is just so interesting and like fun to imagine, knowing it's likely impossible, but just the thought, what if you could? Would you go back? What would you go back and do? Probably maybe not go meet my mom and dad, because that's who wants to do that.
I do so
Maybe
many
something you
things.
do. But there's just the ideas that like a movie like that can like put into like especially a kid's mind is just it's probably shaped who I grew up to be. Just being in love with that movie.
So you're saying Back to the Future is a bunch of bullshit?
One of the best end game lines.
I loved that they made that joke.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
And that Paul Rudd got to deliver it.
Yeah. Oh, that was beautiful. Now, this one is almost on the same level, and it's nobody ever agrees with me, but The Matrix. I love it so much. First of all, I'm a massive martial art movie fan, and it pays homage
Same.
to a lot of great martial art scenes. Even like in the scene where he's training with Morpheus in the dojo, they used that take, even though it wasn't even the best take, because of the Bruce Lee nod.
Where he does the nose.
Yeah, he didn't do that in every take, but that's the one they went with, even though they didn't think it was the best out of all of them, just because of that.
Makes sense.
That's awesome.
I know a lot of people these days, like The Matrix is a bad rap because you got some people always telling you, get off the red pill and stuff, fuck those people. And
The first one was
enjoy
great.
the movie. It's a great movie. I love the whole trilogy.
Yes, the first
And
one was great.
And I know nobody else on this
I
group
agree, the first
would
one's good.
agree with me, but 2 and 3 were good as well. I know.
Hey, he respected our lists.
Yeah.
I just
No, you can say it. Say it. I'm used to it. Nobody ever agrees with me.
They suck.
They went
There you go.
like the Matrix went like this, and then it was just a little bit of a gradual decline, and then just a
I
nosedive.
can't wait for 4. I am so excited that they're making a 4th one. Even though it makes
I'm
no sense,
very
and
excited.
can't make any sense.
It
It
can't.
literally can't make sense. I am going to go see it as many times as I can.
I honestly don't even know what they're planning.
I don't even care.
I love Keanu
I'm
Reeves.
gonna
So.
love it just as much as the first
Same.
3.
John
third
Wick
one,
4 is one of my favorites.
Ooh,
John Wick is
Can't
real.
wait.
It almost
the John
ticks
Wick
the same
movies.
boxes in a way.
John Wick was very close to being in my top 3.
There's just aspects of the first one about it's so hard to even describe like what it is. Just really just like the interesting action sequences, because I'm not really a big general action movie fan, but I love martial arts films. So like good fights and good choreographed
Yes.
fight sequences are just, I love it. I live
It's
for it.
funny. One of my favorite comfort movies. I don't know why, but it's Jackie Chan's Drunken Master. It's like an old
yeah.
Ah,
80s.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Wait, the original Drunken Master,
Yes.
not Legend of the.
Yes.
Oh wow, most people don't
I
even know that
love it.
exists. Yeah, I love Jackie Chan. I love Donnie
Oh,
Yen.
yes.
I love Keanu Reeves' movie that he wrote, Man of Tai Chi.
Yeah, I like Tony Jaa.
Incredible. Yeah, Tony Jaa is
Kicks
the
ass.
Protector movies. They're all amazing.
Yes.
Obviously, Bruce Lee. Nothing else needs to be said. Just
I
the name
love
of it.
I love Lamp. Sorry, I just had to break it up a little bit.
Even Jet Li. Some of his stuff is a little
A little weird,
different,
but
it's still just the whole.
still no
I don't know what
denying
it is.
his.
Yeah,
He's great.
he's masterful in his own way.
The one kicked ass.
No, the third movie was so hard for me. Like, I'm still not even like, there's like any number of movies I could put on this spot, and it's just equally hard. But without fail, every year, and it's probably because of an actor that appeared in the last movie I mentioned, V for Vendetta. I watch it every single year.
So good.
That is a brilliant movie.
Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason plot. I know of no reason the gunpowder treason should ever be forgotten. god,
I have a real ceramic Guy Fawkes mask in a box that I usually
That's
display, but I don't have anywhere to put it right now.
I can't, like, that movie just, like, when it, at the end, when there's something you can never take from a man, and that's an inch. And just, like, all the lines, the different ways he does it, the way Hugo Weaving really just, like, the raw emotion he displays in his roles is just
Hugo Weaving's an excellent actor.
He's one of my all-time favorites.
Hugo Weaving was in 3 of our top movies.
Yeah, he's in. It's funny, isn't it? He just kind of has a way of always showing up.
He's in a movie that I think doesn't get a lot of respect. Any of you seen Hacksaw Ridge?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I haven't yet.
It's
That's
very,
one of
very good.
I've heard
It's
he's
just
really good in that.
I mean, everybody in that movie is brilliant.
yes.
Even Vince Vaughn.
Andrew Garfield
Right.
killed it.
Yeah, I've heard that's really good.
I don't know how Andrew Garfield did get nominated for an Oscar for that movie.
Well, he got nominated. He just didn't
He's
win.
too young. Look at DiCaprio.
Yeah.
There's 2 movies that I almost put here over V for Vendetta. One is probably gonna catch you guys totally off guard. 1996 John Travolta movie, Phenomenon.
I love
One of my
Phenomenon.
all-time favorite movies.
Dude, I like that movie a lot.
It was almost my number 3.
I don't think
it
I've
was
ever
so
seen
hard.
that.
It is.
He sees an
It's his
alien
best-
spaceship
it's-
and gets powers.
Yeah, I've never
he
seen that.
Sees a bright light and
Describe
gets
a movie
brain tumor
badly.
and-
Gets a brain.
Yeah.
You don't know it's a brain tumor till
Yeah.
like near the end of the movie.
yeah,
But
that's true.
he can like
I spoiled
move
a
things with his
30-year-old
mind.
movie. My bad.
Oh no! How dare you? No, I probably won't still see it.
It's
It's very
so,
good,
Mike.
man.
You would like it.
It's
It's
very
hands
good.
down John Travolta's best movie as far as I'm concerned.
Well, you're fine there because, as I said before, when I spoiled episode 9, after a year, it's no longer spoiler
Yeah,
territory.
so I've been,
It's your own
safe
fault.
I've been safe. And the other one that I came so close to putting there, it just like lost my mind. Like
we were talking about Leonardo DiCaprio. Was it him?
Yeah, Catch Me If You Can.
Oh my
Ooh,
God!
that-
Speaking
yeah.
of Tom Hanks, yeah,
I know
Very
The
good movie.
Revenant is what got him his award, but he should have got it for that movie.
he absolutely.
There's so many
should've.
other movies he should have got an Oscar for than The Revenant.
Him and Tom Hanks in that movie were equals. He
Yes.
was not the lesser.
The Revenant's very good.
I honestly feel like they just kind of gave him the Oscar for The Revenant because they felt bad for not giving it to him for other
No,
movies.
That movie is incredible.
Revenant's
It was
really
incredible, but I feel like I don't know what other movies came out that year because might have been the only time I actually didn't agree with him.
Hell, he even got hypothermia for that role. Like
I know.
he earned that award.
He
And
did.
and he did get fucked by a bear.
Tom
yeah, but
Hardy?
but that part he wrote into his contract.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was a
I
writer.
think Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the greatest actors.
I can't
of all
believe he
time.
hasn't come up at all during this.
Undeniable.
And I think he's been that good since the
The
beginning.
Departed is one of my favorite movies.
I think The Departed. Oh shit! I just lost it. The Wolf of Wall Street, Shutter Island, Titanic. He could have won an award for all.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
What was the one that was a lot like that came out around the same time as it? Shutter
Inception.
Island? Inception. Yeah.
Inception,
I
yeah.
like that.
Jesus, I didn't even say Inception. God, Leo's good.
Yeah. Titanic. And,
Is he good or is Martin Scorsese good?
They're
yes.
both good.
The answer is yes.
That was Christopher Nolan's baby.
Yeah.
They
it was a
would.
good
The
one.
studio said they weren't. He didn't want to come back to do Dark Knight Returns, and the studio said they wouldn't give him, or if he came back for Dark Knight Returns, they would give him $200 million to make whatever movie he wanted, and that was Inception.
It's so visually like.
Yes.
But we could go on and on about movies for like
Oh God, yeah.
countless hours.
I'll tell you one thing: editing this is going to be fun.
But I think that gonna close this off.
So many things, but I'll hold it in.
Just a quick shameless plug here. If you liked what we did on this podcast, be sure to check out my YouTube channel, Baker Reviews, and I'll be starting a new project soon. So stay tuned.
And like you said, guys, that's Baker Reviews. And with that, we bring our first episode to a close. Thank you so much for checking us out and making it all the way to the end. If you're still here, why not consider subscribing to the show and join us next week as we kick back and enjoy some television. From all of us at Culture Shock, thanks for listening.